Did you know that turning 80 can completely rewire the way your body, your mind, and even your relationships work? Most people think aging only means decline, but the truth is very different. At 80, 5 remarkable changes happen to everyone. And these changes are not medical problems to fear. They are natural transitions that can actually open doors to a richer and more authentic life. In this video from Life in Words, I'll guide you through the 5 inevitable shifts that come with reaching this milestone. You will learn why your energy and sleep patterns transform, how your social world reshapes itself in surprising ways, why your relationship with time becomes more powerful than ever, what really happens to your memory and thinking, and finally, the most liberating change of all, the one that gives you freedom to live as your truest self. Stay with me because the last change may completely transform how you see aging. Before we dive in, let me ask you, are you approaching 80 already living this stage or watching for someone you love? Share your answer in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else today. The first inevitable change at 80 is your energy and sleep patterns. This shift is universal, and it feels unlike anything you've experienced before. It is not just about feeling tired. It is about your body running on a brand new rhythm. Scientists call it a circadian rhythm shift. After decades of working one way, your internal clock begins to move earlier. Your body now prefers to fall asleep around 8 or 9 at night, and it naturally wakes up between 5 and 6 in the morning. Your energy peaks also change. In your younger years, you might have felt alert until late at night. At 80, your sharpest hours usually arrive in the morning and early afternoon. Around 2 o'clock, many people notice a steep drop in energy. This dip is stronger than it was at 60 or 70. Here is the important part. This is not a sign of decline. It is your body finding a more efficient rhythm for this stage of life. Fighting against it only makes you frustrated. Learning to work with it gives you back control. Let me share a story. Margaret, an 82-year-old retired librarian, spent months worrying about her sleep. She could not stay awake past 9. She kept waking at dawn. She thought something was wrong. After talking with her doctor, she realized this was completely normal. Margaret then redesigned her day. She did her reading, her gardening, and her letter writing in the early hours when her energy felt highest. She scheduled phone calls and visits in the late morning, and when 2 o'clock arrived, she allowed herself a short 20-minute rest without guilt. The result surprised her. By honoring her new rhythm, she felt more energetic and accomplished than she had in years. You can do the same. Start by tracking your personal energy peaks for 1 week. Notice the times when you feel most alert and when you feel your natural slowdown. Write them down. Next, match your priorities to those peaks. Plan your most demanding activities when your energy is at its highest. It could be errands, exercise, reading, or even creative work. Save lighter tasks for when your body wants to rest. Finally, protect your sleep. Create a routine that respects your earlier bedtime. Dim the lights in the evening. Avoid screens an hour before sleep. Allow your body to settle naturally. One more powerful habit is morning sunlight. A short walk in natural light helps your brain set its clock. This simple step stabilizes your sleep cycle and keeps your mood steady. When you stop fighting your body and start listening to it, you find freedom. The truth is, your body at 80 is not broken. It is optimized for a new rhythm. By accepting this shift, you gain more productive mornings, more peaceful afternoons, and deeper rest at night. So let me ask you, have you noticed your own energy patterns changing as you've grown older? Do you feel more like a morning person now than ever before? Share your experience in the comments. Your insight might help someone else embrace their own rhythm. Energy and sleep changes are only the beginning. The second transformation goes beyond the body. It reshapes your very connections with others, and it might surprise you how positive that change can be. The second change at 80 is your social world. It evolves in ways you may not expect. At first, this shift can feel like loss. Friends you once saw often may no longer be around. Some move away to be closer to family. Others face health challenges. Gatherings that once felt lively may slowly fade. But here's the deeper truth. Your social circle does not simply shrink, it reshapes. And the relationships that remain often become more meaningful than ever before. Psychologists call this the socio-emotional selectivity theory. As we age, we naturally become more selective. We focus our emotional energy on the connections that truly matter. Superficial ties fade, but bonds built on trust, understanding, and shared values grow stronger. Let me share a story. Harold, now 81, was once the center of a weekly bridge group. For decades, that group gave him laughter and belonging. But by his late 70s, the group dissolved. A few members passed away, others lost interest. Harold felt adrift. He wondered if his social life was ending. Then something unexpected happened. Harold began attending a local community art class. He had never painted before, but the group welcomed him. Over time, he discovered new friendships with people his age who shared his curiosity and joy for learning. These friendships were not based on history, but on shared purpose. Harold found himself looking forward to class each week, not just for painting, but for the conversations that followed. His family noticed the change. He became more engaged, more talkative, more alive. What he lost in numbers, he gained in depth. This is what often happens at 80. You may talk to fewer people, but the ones you do spend time with are the ones who truly lift you up. You also start to invest more in family. Adult children, grandchildren, or even neighbors can become central sources of joy and support. Here are strategies to navigate this social transformation. First, give yourself permission to let some relationships fade. Not every friendship is meant to last forever. Releasing them allows space for new ones to grow. Second, actively seek environments where genuine connections form. Join a club, a class, a volunteer group, or even an online community. The goal is not quantity, it is shared meaning. Third, invest intentionally in the people who energize you. Schedule regular calls, walks, or simple coffee visits. Even one meaningful conversation can outweigh a full day of casual chatter. Finally, redefine what social success means. It is no longer about how many people surround you. It is about how supported and understood you feel. This shift is not isolation, it is optimization. At 80, you no longer waste energy on what drains you. You pour it into relationships that give you life, and that makes your social world richer, not poorer. So let me ask you, who has surprised you by becoming an important part of your life later on? Or which old friendship has deepened in ways you never imagined? Share in the comments. Your story could remind someone else that they are not alone in this transformation. The evolution of your social world sets the stage for the next great change. It is not just about people, it is about time itself. And how you see time at 80 may be the most liberating shift of all. The third change at 80 is your relationship with time, and it may be the most profound shift of all. In your younger years, time often felt like something to race against. Deadlines, careers, family duties. You were pulled in many directions. At 80, that pressure begins to fall away. Days may feel shorter because stamina is lower. Yet paradoxically, you become far more intentional about how you spend each moment. Psychologists call this the time perspective shift. Instead of worrying about what others expect, you focus on what brings genuine satisfaction. The fear of missing out becomes the joy of choosing consciously. Let me share a story. Eleanor, at 83, spent decades serving on church committees. She organized events, attended meetings, and felt bound by duty. But as she entered her 80s, those commitments no longer felt fulfilling. They drained her energy instead of giving her purpose. One day, Eleanor made a decision that shocked her family. She stepped away from every committee role. Instead, she devoted her Sundays to her garden, her true passion since childhood. At first, her family worried. They thought she was isolating, but soon they saw a remarkable change. Eleanor was more vibrant, more peaceful, more alive. She shared vegetables with neighbors. She volunteered once a week at a community garden, teaching younger families how to grow food. She had stopped giving her energy to obligations that no longer mattered and started investing in what truly did. This is the gift of the time perspective shift. At 80, you begin to say no to things that steal your strength. You say yes to things that feed your soul. Here are ways to embrace this transformation. First, conduct a time audit. For 1 week, write down how you spend your hours. Circle the activities that energize you. Cross out the ones that drain you. You may be surprised by the patterns. Second, practice saying no without guilt. When requests do not align with your genuine priorities, you have the wisdom to decline. Third, make space for joy, even if it looks unproductive. Reading on the porch, painting, listening to music, sharing stories with grandchildren. These moments often hold more meaning than a packed schedule. Fourth, use this clarity to have conversations you may have postponed. Talk about what matters most, share memories, express gratitude. Time becomes precious when you realize it is no longer endless. This shift is not about running out of time. It is about finally understanding what time is for. At 80, many discover a kind of freedom they never had before. They no longer live for appearances. They live for authenticity. Think about it. How many hours each week do you spend on things you truly love? And how many do you give away out of habit or expectation? So let me ask you, if you could free 1 hour each week just for yourself, how would you spend it? Share your answer in the comments. You might inspire someone else to take back their time. This new relationship with time prepares you for another fascinating change. It takes place not in the calendar, but in the mind itself. Your memory and thinking begin to transform in ways that might surprise you. And it is not the decline most people fear. The fourth change at 80 involves your memory and your thinking, and it is not what most people expect. Many fear that memory loss defines aging, but the truth is far more complex. At 80, your brain does not simply decline, it reorganizes, it trades certain abilities for others, and often the trade is worth more than you realize. Yes, short-term memory becomes less reliable. You may walk into a room and forget why. You may hear a name and lose it a moment later. But while these quick recall skills weaken, something more powerful grows stronger. Your brain begins to excel at pattern recognition. You connect past experiences with present situations. Long-term memories become vivid, detailed, even sharper than before. This shift allows you to see meaning in events that once seemed disconnected. Think of it this way. At 30, your brain worked like a high-speed computer. At 80, it becomes more like a library of wisdom, slower at typing new notes, but rich with volumes of insight. Let me share a story. Richard, now 84, spent his career as an engineer. In his 80s, he struggled to memorize technical details like he once could. At first, he felt frustrated. But when his son came to him with work challenges, Richard found something surprising. He could quickly see solutions his son and colleagues had missed. Decades of experience allowed him to recognize patterns instantly. What he lacked in speed, he made up for in wisdom. Richard adapted. He carried a small notebook to jot down everyday details. That freed his mind for deeper problem solving. He also joined a local advisory board. There, his ability to connect past and present proved invaluable. Younger members respected him for insights they could not see. This is the hidden strength of the aging mind. You trade rapid recall for profound understanding, quick memorization for clear judgment. The result is something researchers call crystallized intelligence. It is the ability to use accumulated knowledge to make wise decisions. Here are ways to work with your changing mind. First, externalize daily information. Use calendars, notes, and reminders. This clears space for deeper thinking. Second, engage in activities that draw on wisdom. Strategy games, mentoring younger people, or solving problems that need perspective. Third, challenge your brain with learning, not by starting from scratch, but by building on what you already know. If you loved history, explore new eras. If you love music, try a new instrument. Fourth, recognize that slower processing is not failure. It is specialization. Your brain is now tuned for depth, not speed. Imagine the freedom in that. You may misplace your glasses, but you can instantly sense when someone is being dishonest. You may forget a name, but you can quickly see the heart of a problem. These are skills that only decades of living can provide. So let me ask you, have you noticed yourself offering better advice even if you cannot recall small details as quickly? Do you feel your wisdom growing stronger with age? Share in the comments. Your perspective can reassure others that they are not losing value. They are gaining a different kind of strength. This cognitive evolution sets the stage for the final change. And it might be the most liberating of all. a change that allows you to finally live with complete freedom and authenticity. The fifth change at 80 is the most surprising. It is the rise of freedom and authenticity. For decades, life may have felt like a performance. You played roles: parent, employee, spouse, volunteer. Each role carried expectations from others. At 80, much of that pressure dissolves. Children are grown, careers are complete. Society's demands no longer weigh as heavily. What remains is something beautiful: the freedom to live as your truest self. This is not just about caring less what others think. It is about aligning your life with your values, perhaps for the first time. You speak your mind without apology. You pursue hobbies once dismissed as impractical. You dress the way you like. You organize your days around what brings joy, not obligation. Let me share a story. Florence, now 82, spent most of her adult life as the devoted wife of a minister. She dressed conservatively. She spoke carefully. She put everyone else's needs first. Inside, though, she loved bold colors, abstract art, and lively conversation. For decades, she suppressed that side of herself. Then in her 80s, Florence decided she was done with restraint. She began painting vibrant canvases. She wore clothes that reflected her spirit. She shared her opinions openly. At first, her family was startled, but soon they realized she was happier, more engaging, and more alive than ever before. Her grandchildren loved this colorful grandmother who spoke her truth. Florence had finally given herself permission to be herself. This is what authenticity looks like at 80. It is not selfishness, it is liberation. You are no longer bound by roles that no longer fit. You choose the ones that nourish you. Researchers note that this stage often brings higher life satisfaction. Why? Because honesty takes less energy than performance. You stop wasting effort on pretense. You invest it in real connections. Relationships often improve because people feel they are finally meeting the real you. Here are ways to embrace this freedom consciously. First, identify where you are still living by others' rules. Ask yourself if those rules serve you or only serve appearances. Second, give yourself permission to choose joy. That could mean moving to a place that makes you happy, picking up a hobby you once abandoned, or speaking truths you once held back. Third, experiment. Try something small that expresses your authentic self. See how it feels. Notice how others respond. Fourth, celebrate the courage of authenticity. At 80, being true to yourself is not just a gift to you, it is a gift to those around you. It shows younger generations that freedom is possible at any age. This is the culmination of all the other changes. Your energy rhythms teach efficiency. Your social world refines to deeper connections. Your new view of time prioritizes what matters. Your mind shifts from speed to wisdom. Together, they lead to the greatest gift of all, the freedom to live authentically. So let me ask you, what is one thing you have always wanted to do but postponed? What is one part of yourself you are ready to express more fully? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your courage might inspire someone else to embrace their authenticity. At 80, life does not narrow, it opens. And the freedom to live as yourself may be the most valuable change of all. We have explored 5 powerful changes that come with turning 80. Your energy and sleep patterns shift. Your social world evolves. Your relationship with time transforms. Your memory and thinking reorganize. And finally, your sense of freedom and authenticity blossoms. These are not signs of decline. They are signs of evolution. Each change, when understood, becomes an invitation to live more intentionally, to choose what matters, to deepen connections, to trust your wisdom, to finally live as your truest self. At 80, you are not a diminished version of your younger self. You are a refined version, optimized for a different stage of life, a stage where efficiency, clarity, wisdom, and authenticity carry more value than speed or appearances ever could. The truth is simple. Aging does not strip away meaning, it reveals it. And those who embrace these changes often report more satisfaction, more joy, and more peace than they have felt in decades. So let me ask you, which of these 5 changes speaks to you most? Which one has brought the greatest gift? Share your answer in the comments. Your story can help others see aging in a new light. If this video gave you a new perspective, please share it with a friend or loved one. And remember to subscribe to Life in Words, where we celebrate every stage of life with wisdom and inspiration. At 80, life is not ending, it is unfolding. And the journey ahead can be more fulfilling than you ever imagined.